The new world waiting for humanity, and peoples within our temporal realm, whose worlds have already transitioned, are waiting for us to make the move into a moral maturity regarding the nature of magic. This potential outcome is one of greater possibility than any individual modern human can imagine. A key to this mature development will always be remembering and appreciating our past forms of animalhood. Quadrupeds, often in our cases mammals, and all other species amongst us are to be stewarded and treated as absolute equals. The lesson of passing into ultimate personal development is framed by an acknowledgement of eventual return to our simple, flow state, individually unique, natural, wild environment immersed, non-personal animal selves. This appreciation and respect is one that, if were present before the transition, would have expedited our passing into the post-permanent realm ability protocol breakthrough world. What is specifically being referred to is the immorality of carnism. In our modern world of advanced large-scale agriculture systems, the killing and consumption of animal flesh is absolutely unnecessary. This practice of killing our fellow men and women, incarnating temporally in animal form for our own sustenance, is one of absolute disgrace. Let it be known that I am not referring to animals eating each other in the wild for instinctual survival. I am referring to the negligence of upstanding, bipedal, 10-fingered, enlarged cerebrum humans who have internally abolished their morally necessary consideration for what they eat. Most children raised today are given meat through their entire childhood by their parents. This obviously paves the way for worldwide, long-term, murderous disaster of the sacred, beautiful animal forms and living souls within them. Any visiting person from another star system observing the dietary habits of our already technologically intertwined civilization will see this as a continuous, horrific, global slaughter ritual. Moreover, these animals are not killed in the wild by hunters, which the hunters have no right to do anyway, unless they are stranded and it is needed for survival. Instead, animals are industrially raised, drugged, tortured, and murdered in such massive numbers that it is hard to conceive of the atrocity. The treating of living people incarnated within one of their animal forms as objects to be used at humanity's will is an unexplainably effective way to accrue negative consequence upon any carnist's future temporal animal incarnations. There is no reason for the amount of time spent in one's temporal animal form to be less than that spent in one's personal form. People consciously allowing the meat and often also torturous or even murderous dairy industries, which is the case with most companies producing eggs on wide scale for consumption, to have a constant revenue stream and demand are responsible for the continuation of the supply. A farmer will not kill his so-called livestock if no one will buy the meat. If you want the best possible future for your temporal lives within non-personal form, especially within domains where there are people like modern humans also operating, you would stretch to limit your participation in carnism as much as possible without jeopardizing your own survival. It is absolutely the case that this morally requires the massive majority of living humans today to take up a plant-based or at least vegetarian diet. With our past sacred animal forms we have transitioned out of now being reviewed, we should focus on other capabilities that can help optimize our biosphere into complete permanent realm condition reflection. An ability that will be developed for all people is the reviewing of their own or any other public life events in the past. What is being referred to is access to the Akashic Record. Although the past is set in stone and unchangeable, each moment can be reviewed in full, like rewinding a video, except this would include the re-experiencing of emotion and thought. Because these past occurrences cannot be altered, the individual consciously reviewing them must first develop the ability to not judge others for their mistakes that have already been resolved in later times that can also be reviewed. The access to the Akashic Record will clear up all historical uncertainties about humanity's most mysterious stories and legends. More importantly, it will allow the absolute certainty of accurate justice within our world as long as responsible people are willing to do the work within the Akashic Record. No criminal of natural law will be able to lie or escape. It should be mentioned that criminality only exists by people not having their permanent realm ability yet restored. This will not mean much for humanity initially, because of the vast amount of psychopathic criminals still running rampant. This sickness will be cleaned up over many years by moral, upstanding, permanent realm ability practicing people aligned with natural law. Wrongdoers will truly be at the whims of their victims, and redemption will finally have its day. This will not be a violent, bloodshedding disaster. Rather, it will be what the criminals want the least, sharing the full negative experience they caused upon their victims, and then eventually passing on to live out their continuing punitive karma in future temporal lives. Another capability to be developed is true time travel. In order to understand what is actually possible here, one must completely forget everything humanity's culture has put out about it. What real time travel is not is the following: traveling to a past point in time and creating a new timeline, traveling into a destined future point to escape the present, and traveling into a future point and then returning to the original present in order to change the present. To reiterate, the past is set in absolute stone and cannot be changed. The future itself is just a word. It is not actually real. All that is real is a moving present moment through nature's unfolding of novelty and reappreciation of unchangeable life form cyclical constants. However, a permanent realm reflecting individual does have the ability to change time in certain ways. The primary way is to create a time bubble within a private area or a public area with the consent of all participants, so as to slow time down as much as one desires, except for a complete stop. Time always moves forward, no matter how slow. After the participants are finished within their time bubble, they can return back to the normal realm-based pace of time. They will have lived longer within that temporal realm than others who do not enter the time bubble. However, they will not have physically aged more because permanent realm reflecting individuals also have access to complete life vitalization and visual aging prevention. These abilities are possible because the person will have consciously understood the seriousness and sacredness of old age and gradual exit out of a temporal realm that has not yet reached its permanent realm ability protocol breakthrough. Each animal and person in our world who has passed on has done so in this way, and that is to be appreciated. In addition, one should not be concerned about a time bubble with slower passing time within it, causing one to age more than another not in it, because no one's life ever started. Technically, every organism within the perspective of permanence is the same age, infinity. This is not to mean that one should gloss over the temporal graduations in their lifetime. Life has a way of making sure its participants receive the full gambit of progressional experience within a temporal realm. The other way of real time travel is more sensitive and likely not yet understood. For this reason, I will confine the explanation to an individual within the pure permanent realm, or one who has already passed away. An individual in this base reality dimension, that is where all of our soul's true homes are, can create a time bubble for themselves that increases the speed of collective time for them only. A reason for this may be because of wishing to expedite the reconnection with a permanent partner still being within their own past temporal condition, yet to pass on. Time speed will not alter for any individual who is not in the bubble. This effect cannot be reversed, so would be done very carefully and intentionally by an individual holding full knowledge of their current life situation. Although the prospect of having your own or shared vacation within a time bubble for weeks or months and then returning with only 1 second passing in collective time is incredible, there are many abilities to be developed first. The many serious problems facing our very planet will be dealt with by less exotic, yet still amazing abilities. For example, there is permanent realm reflecting three-dimensional movement and propulsion. A good way to describe this in English is electromagnetogravitic drive, powered by permanent realm reflecting energy, which is commonly called zero-point energy. This energy, which will need to be dispersed to all people who aren't yet ready to engage the ET reality themselves, is the tapping of space-time's full energetic potential, which has no limit. Any amount of desired energy can be accurately applied to any technological item, without one less or more watt than needed being applied. This zero-point energy, though, is confined to moral applications within the constraints of natural law the moment the permanent realm ability protocol breakthrough occurs. One of the reasons the breakthrough has not occurred and has been continuously delayed is because the permanent realm reflecting technological manifestations on Earth, here to prepare the common innocent person for what is coming, have been cherry-picked and used for nefarious purposes by the aforementioned sick cult running the control system from behind the scenes. The specifics of these misuses are sensitive and for a later discussion, although they are temporary in nature and will be inevitably stopped. To return to movement and propulsion, people will be able to travel on silent craft, or with their bodies alone, in a levitating fashion all the way up to the speed of light, again within any space they have the right to travel to. This constraint of rightful use only, and not violating another's private space, is implied only if the energy and movement ability is sourced from the permanent realm, and not the cherry-picked versions within secret government and private facilities. Beyond the crossing point of light into superluminal speeds is a passing into teleportable dimensionality, where one can travel massive distances, even hundreds of billions of light years away, virtually instantly, and then return in the same fashion. Another ability to be first developed, and already has been by many living humans, that is less exotic than the aforementioned time travel, is communication with the dead who have returned to the blissful, pure, permanent realm. These people who have passed on can choose to connect bridges within consciousness with intending humans. They also would have already been debriefed after their rebirth into base dimensional reality, and thus would hold a truly godlike level of knowledge. Opportunities here include life optimization, access to normally unknowable probability rates of certain events likely to happen in the future, and linguistic dissonance clearing for the greatest accuracy of communicating most relevant knowledge for the temporal realm remaining individual's world's conscious development. The information presented here can serve as motivation for any individual's life plight. It is after the processing of such that new behaviors aligning with the permanent realm condition can begin to show. Do not let anyone tell you that your true dreams need to be limited. The future humanity shares can be one of actual utopia. Stop letting yourself believe that even more than what you yearn for and are most passionate about cannot come into material fruition. Our resilient Earth can turn into a place with 30-mile wide, jewel-speckled, and colorful pure light emanating architecture, private orbiting space homes the size of entire neighborhoods for each individual above and in the atmosphere, underground chasms of simulated morphing computer surroundings for shared experience and trading of ideas, and a surface of beautiful green flourishing trees and plant life, producing ripe, sweet fruits and other foods for free, happy, roaming animals. With your passionate, voluntary, moral, dream-pursuing participation, Earth can become a non-stop garden party of openly expressive interdimensional artwork and naturally sprouting beauty. Humans can become stewards of a bright green and blue biosphere, teeming in unpredictable potential, with all animal and personal forms incarnating, brought immediately into a condition of freedom and God consciousness, collaborating and intercommunicating with the universe's plethora of complex, diverse peoples visiting in crystalline starships and sharing never before seen or heard, unique to their existence, unendingly interesting technology, architecture, artwork, and music. The question is, do you have what it takes? Moreover, do you have what it gives?